Welcome back, V5O community, and happy Thursday. It is our happiest hour of the week. It's great to see you, and thank you so much for making the time to be here today. As you all know, we are approaching our 200th happy hour. It all started back in March 24th of 2020. Hard to believe. Thank you all for your continued support, and especially those who have been with us since day one. You know, we always say that Thursdays at 5 o'clock is our happiest hour of the week, and it really is. You know, our happy hours are never the same, and you never know what might just happen. We host everything from speed networking events to Las Vegas magicians. We've had live bands, comedians, amazing guest speakers, and breakout sessions that are just so genuine, authentic. And today will be no different, as we have an amazing guest who will get everyone energized and inspired. As you mentioned every week, success takes time, commitment, and consistency, and that's what we're all about here. We ask you to make the effort to show up, connect with your fellow members on a regular basis, and always check in with someone. You never know how someone's day's going unless you ask. And please continue to support one another on social, and make sure you subscribe to the V5O LinkedIn and YouTube channel. A couple quick announcements. If you want to host a V5O event, reach out to us. We hosted 5 amazing events in June, along with an incredible lineup of speakers. So just reach out. We'll put that together. And on July 27th, we are planning on hosting an immersive happy hour experience. It's going to be the last Thursday, so details are going to be coming out with that. There'll be separate links, so you're not going to register on the back end. So we'll get that out to everybody. We're going to try something new and cool. So with that,
I am so blessed and honored. I was fortunate enough to attend the dinner through someone that you all enjoyed listening to on V5O, David Meltzer. And James and I gravitated towards each other immediately. I will call him my brother now, and it's just such an honor to have him here today. James is a keynote speaker, author, superhero, legitimate, and amputee advocate. He's got a YouTube channel with 1.5 million subscribers, and he's got one of the most incredible stories that you're going to hear, and just so thrilled to share it with you. And I know you guys are going to be inspired after getting to know James. So James, with that being said, I got a lot more to say about you, but you know what? I'm going to let you tell it.
Well, first of all, thank you, brother, Alan, for taking the time to allow me in to be able to talk with the family. Each and every one of you, man, I'm truly blessed to be able to talk to you. I want to tell you a little bit about me, and in the way that I tell you my story, hopefully it can impact and give you something that you can use and draw from it. A year ago, I was working in a factory. It's all I've ever done. For the last 12 years, I've worked on the family, 3rd generation of a person building Silverado trucks. My family, my grandfather worked 40 years, my mom worked 38 years, and the same was expected out of me. But there was something that was triggered inside of me to do more with what I am. I would sit and I would listen to audiobooks while I would work, and every day began to be the same day. Monday was Friday, Friday was Tuesday, Saturday it's the same darn day. The fact that people I worked around sold the same jokes every day. They never said anything different. The same, I automatically felt like I was in a movie Groundhog Day. And so I decided, man, it was like, started going to the gym and doing all those things, maintaining. And the reason why the gym was so important in my life is because I was born disabled. My first surgery, I was 90 days old. Every 6 months until I was 11, I had a surgery. My 34th surgery was an amputation of my right leg. And then when I woke up, my leg was gone, and I didn't know it would be gone. I was taken to the Shriners Hospital in Chicago, Illinois, and the idea of me going there was supposed to be just another routine visit, maybe a surgery, maybe a skin graft, things I've been through time and time again. But no, this was different. They had experimented on me to try to stimulate growth on my right side because of poor blood circulation. They took part of my rib cage and put it down where my tibia was, trying to get growth. It didn't work. Everything failed. My family came together, my mom and my dad, and pulled me into a room at the Shriners, and they asked the question, do you want to lose your leg? And I said no. And because I said no, that was supposed to be the answer. They would look for a different solution. But when I went to sleep, I woke up and my leg was gone. And when I woke up, there was no adult around. My mom, my dad, no one. And I felt what was called a phantom pain. That's where the leg that is gone itches, it catches a cramp. It feels like people are putting pins and needles in it. I'm feeling all those things and I don't understand what is wrong. And I get out of the bed and I try to hop, I fall and I break open the stitches and they take me back and we do another surgery to sew me back up. And now I'm angry that they took my leg. I'm feeling this pain and there's no one there. Now that would have been bad enough at 11, but there was a different part of this story. You see, in my room, I was in the Great Lakes room department area in Shriners Hospital, and there's a kid on the right side of me. His name was Matt. And on the left side of me, there was a kid named Gilbert. Gilbert was 12 and Matt was 8. Matt was born with a disease that was very debilitating, and his mom and dad were there every day. They couldn't touch him directly, so they used to reach inside of this little incubator through gloves, and they would interact with him that way. He was brilliant, funny, gregarious, but he was in this little carded box, and it was very difficult to interact with him because you couldn't touch him. But one morning, Matt's gone, and his parents are in our room giving us stuffed animals. And I asked, where's Matt? And they said, we want to thank you for being Matt's friend. I said, oh, he's going home. And they said, no, Matt's gone on to be with the Lord. Matt didn't make it. But you made his last days wonderful. Thank you for being our son's friend. Now, that was rough for me to deal with, to go through my surgery and to wake up and the idea that maybe people die doing this thing. And then on the left side of me, there was Gilbert. He was paralyzed from the neck down because of an accident at Cabrini Green Apartments in Chicago, Illinois. He fell from the 3rd floor, broke his neck, and everything was just destroyed in his spine, and walking for the rest of his life was done. Moving was gone. Nothing worked on Gilbert except for his face. And I remember they closed the curtains to give privacy to Gilbert and his mom for a conversation. And when they did so, it didn't stop me from being able to hear the conversation. So let me share that conversation with you. His mom walks in the room, said, Gil, and he said, hey, mama. She said, Gil, I got to tell you something. He said, yes, ma'am. I can't do it anymore. You see, Gil, I got to live my life too. And mama can't keep coming out here. You're not going to get any better. This is a lot of work. And these people are going to take good care of you. They're going to find somebody that's going to love you and give you a good home. But I can't do it anymore. And I listened to this kid beg his mama to stay. Mama, please, I won't be bad anymore. Mama, mercy, please. Mama, please. Gil, you're making this too hard on me. I can't do it anymore. And she walks out, and those are the final words she ever spoke to Gilbert. This kid's over there trying to take his life by holding his breath, biting his tongue. And I'm like, Gil, don't, And I see them working on him and trying to get him to calm down. But all he wants is to be back with his mom, to be loved, be accepted. And I'm sitting here, I've lost my leg. I've watched my friend die. I've watched this kid be abandoned. And the only thing I can wonder is anybody coming back for me? My mom ends up coming in from Indiana back to Chicago, walks in the room, and this is the God's honest truth. The nurse is telling me, James, you'll be able to do things like every other kid. And my mom walks in and says, do not give my son lies. He's a cripple. He cannot do that. You see, it was based off of my resume of life. If I had never walked so far in my life, if I've never had a day walking in my life, how the hell am I going to start walking now? How the hell am I going to play basketball, run, do anything if I've never done any of that in my life as of now? There is nothing on my resume that says that I could play sports or compete or be like every other kid. And so that's a message for all of you. You are not your resume. What you have done is only a portion of your skill set. It is not the culmination of everything that you are. You are not judged by who you are and what you're capable of based upon what was in your past. Your resume can only tell people one of the paths you took. But the same word resume is the same as resume. You see, there's a plan and path for you that is given, embedded inside of you from the day you were born. It's called your destiny. And I didn't know that losing my leg would lead to something great in my life, that the biggest blessing I ever had was to lose a limb and to watch and see that life is valuable and fragile and that people can abandon you and isolate you. But just because you're isolated doesn't mean you're alone. Sometimes you're separated from people so that you can go to another level, so that you can find out that you're an eagle and not a pigeon. Sometimes abandonment is supposed to happen in your life. But at 11, that was hard. My mom walks in and she says, "Don't give my son false hope." I look back at the nurse and she says, "Stop looking at her, look at me, I'm your mother." She grabs me by the chin, turns me towards her and says, "Do you hear what I'm saying to you? Stop looking at her, I'm your mother." And so I look at my mom and say, "Yes, ma'am." And she said, "You're a cripple. Do you understand that?" And when I didn't respond immediately, and I wanted to look back at the nurse to find out if that was true, am I a cripple? My mom slapped me and said, "I'm the one speaking to you. Now say it. Tell me you understand that you're a cripple." I turned back and I looked at my mom and I said, "I'm a cripple." At that very moment, all my hopes, all my dreams, all the words of that nurse died. You see, sometimes people can move in to your mental space and live there a long time. And so I tried to muster up and prove her wrong. And I found out that anger isn't the fuel that you can live on long. It eats you up. And if you ever go around looking for validation from people that you are enough, that your business plan works, that the path you are taking, if you're going to look for validation from people, you can't. You can't go by opinions. You got to find experts. You got to connect with people who actually can believe for you until you learn to believe in yourself. I started playing sports to prove her wrong. But what I learned is that I was never going to be able to win her approval. And it was never for me to win the approval of her. It was always for me to find out who I was meant to be, who I was born to be. And for me, I got on the phone and my grandmother had called and she said, "Baby, how are you doing?" And I broke down in tears because Mom just told me I'm a cripple. I just watched Gilbert be abandoned and I'm afraid of losing my whole family. I watched Matt die and I don't want to die. My grandmother, who couldn't read or write, got on a Greyhound bus and came from Anderson, Indiana to Chicago, Illinois, came to that hospital room, and she gave me a Superman pendant and told me, "Baby, you just got kryptonite to overcome." Maybe I'm talking to you today in a different way now. I don't know what it is you feel like you need to overcome. Maybe it's a negative mindset. Maybe it's negative things that people have told you about you. But I got to tell you that there's a superhero in you. You just got to find out what that power is. Maybe it's your ability to connect people. Maybe it's your ability to think and outthink people in certain situations. Maybe it's your personality. Maybe it's just the way that you operate. Maybe it's the fact that you have a voice that is unique and different. Whatever it is, there is something unique inside of you. There's a spark of divinity that only God could have given you, and no one can wipe that out but you. I went from being a Superman fan to having Marvel create a character after me because I began to be an advocate for other children. You see, my desire to fit in with an able-bodied world allowed me to force my way in and learn to move and have a different gait. Gait is the way of me to walk. I decided to play basketball to prove myself. And even though I kept getting cut from teams, I got up and I kept doing the work. I kept putting in the work. I kept running. I kept lifting. I kept fighting atrophy. I kept going to the gym. I kept trying to prove them wrong until finally I stopped trying to prove them wrong and I decided to prove myself right. I fell in love with what I became. I'd become confident. Hard times, difficult things bring you to this. If you want to become something, you got to go through something. And whatever you're facing must also face you. Your skill set is enough. Your network is your strength. If you came here for the 5 o'clock, you are becoming stronger by the moment. I promise you, this is more than an engagement. It's more than a message. I am not a motivational speaker. I'm an inspirational figure. I breathe life into people. I am a spark plug to the wheel. I came to push you to become more, and I demand it out of you. I push you to discover and uncover whatever layer it is inside of you that God intended to come out because I had to pull it out of me. When I stayed quiet, when I stayed on mute, there's 1.5 million people that never would have gotten a message of hope. I never openly accepted or loved myself until I was 45, where I decided to wear shorts and openly accept the fact that I am disabled, but I am capable of living life without limitations. I embraced the fact of what I lost allowed me to find my purpose. I am unique, I am gifted, I am loved, I am accepted as I am, and so are you. See, there is a thing that has to happen, though. You have to discover where your tribe is. My tribe wasn't going to be in the Special Olympics because I didn't want to be treated special. It wasn't in the Paralympics. I have never competed in any Olympic sport, yet I have a banner that hangs in the Olympic centers because I inspire the Olympians with what I do. I lift weights. Decided to go against able-bodied people. And in the Paralympics, they don't have powerlifting. So I decided just to do it against able-bodied people. My combined lift is 1620. Now, why is that a significant number? It's not to impress you with 3 different lifts, because I broke the deadlift record for amputees by 300 pounds, because I never accepted the fact that I was an amputee. I didn't know it. Now, let me tell you why I did so well. 760-pound lift. It's because when I stood before the weights, I took a pause to breathe for a moment. No straps, everyone's drug tested. I took a deep breath and I imagined that everything that was on that bar was every hope, every dream, every ounce of possibility that was supposed to be in my life. I imagined that it was my grandmother and she had fallen and it was upon me to lift her up. And if I can lift her up, I can lift her life. If I can lift her up, I can lift up my goals, my aspirations, my dreams. I can stop looking down. I can believe that something great is inside of me. I have to lift this up because everything that I have been born for is in front of me. I have no excuses. It's me versus the opposition of life, and I've got to win. Forgive me for my emotion, but I give you everything that I am in this conversation. And so when I lifted it with every ounce of me. And when I pulled it up, man, I released a primal roar, but it wasn't because I was being Neanderthal. It was because I was releasing every limitation that I ever tried to accept on me. My biggest fear is that some of you have accepted being good when greatness is your bar. But the only way that you can ever uncover your greatness is that you stop accepting being good enough. Tomorrow is not promised for any of us. And so what we do today, if we take a deep breath, we recalculate and we make a validated moment here and we say, right now, I'm going to go back to work with a renewed vigor. I'm about to bring something totally different than I did yesterday, a renewed sense of purpose and hope. I'm about to expand my vision, my business. I'm about to double down on me. I want to make it so that you guys also glean something from this. When I left the weight room and I got that trophy, I went to my car, man, and I've got some great things that are in my book that tell a lot more. And I broke down and I cried because my grandmother told me all these things that I'm doing today, she saw it. Like Walt Disney never walked on Disneyland. My grandmother never saw me in this version of me. She didn't live long enough, but she saw it first. You see, just as she had foresight in being able to see potential in me, I see it in you. I see it in Jake. I see it in Randy. I see it in Alan. I see it in Debbie. I see it in Sean. I see it in Joe. You see, you have to find your tribe and commit to it. You have to commit to grow one another, commit to make a difference together. You have to take the second step, which is to make an upfront contract that I will not be sensitive to criticism when people challenge me. I will receive it, I will work on it, and I will come back better. You have to take the third step is that pain is inevitable, but you have to make a decision that the pain that you endure is not to break you, it's to develop you, it's to redirect you. It is painful for someone to tell you that what you've been doing doesn't work. But if you allow ego and pride to stand in the way, you will never become the person that you were meant to be. Fourth one is to become a decision maker, decisive. Have that self-efficacy where you can trust your own judgment. Your intuition and your instincts have been right, but you need to connect them with people that have an expertise. And that's what this room is. It's full of people that make difference. Speaking of making a difference, my grandmother used to use this analogy with me all the time. She said, baby, there's a whole lot of people on this earth that are like eggs. They're always fluid, right? Until you put them in hot water. And then all of a sudden, they lose their ability to connect. And you go to shake them, and it's all rock hard. They're hardened up now. Their hearts are now hard because of what they've been through. What you've been through should make you all the more accepting and warm and welcoming and looking for people. You can trust, by now, when someone's conning you, when someone's just talking, when you've learned all those, trust that instinct. But that means since you have that knowledge, you should connect with people that are authentic. There are also people who are like that carrot. Carrots are always tough until they hit hot water. And all of a sudden, they become soft. And there's a whole lot of people who start off with this tough demeanor. And then when hard times come, you find out that they're really not as tough as they seem to be. And then there are other people who are like coffee. You take grounds, you put them in hot water, and they change the water. The same water that changed the carrots and made them soft, the same ones that took the fluidity out of the egg, now change when coffee hits it. You see, you can be an atmosphere person that changes where you land and by who you're with. Man, I've endeavored to change and reach 1.5 billion people within the next 3 years. So, James, that's a big number. Well, if in my first year, I reached 127 million, I'm well on my way. When I measure that, I think about this aspect here. The fifth thing is about budget. You've got to create a budget of investing in you. Coaching and development is not an expense. It's a return for an investment of an improved version of you. When I decided to leave the job working at the factory, this is how it happened. I was walking around and I had, this will represent my phone. I was headed into the gym and I grabbed it and I started talking into my phone and was just sharing a thought. And then I decided just to record it. And I made a 19-second video that went viral. That 19 seconds then told people who I was. And so I went from a few followers to about 30,000, and it kind of capped off. You see, anyone can be hot once. But then I got in front of the right tribe, the right group. I invested in coaching. I put myself in the sphere of influence of people like you, and people heard my story. And all of a sudden, fulfillment, number 6, fulfillment of all my dreams came true. The investment I put in turned into a huge thing because now I knew how to approach, how to monetize what I had. And then I realized how to recognize that my greatest gifts, I was already born with those. I just needed to know how to guide those gifts. Al, you're one of the most gifted people in your bloodline. But what you do with it is up to you. We can say, well, I've only got a few more years before I retire or quit, or you can leave a legacy. Everything that we do matters. When Lisa and Pam come together, or Eric, you have a responsibility and obligation to the gifts that God gave you from the foundations of the earth to return double on that investment. I want to say this, and they might check the time because I know I've got less than 10 minutes to do with the Q&A, right? I want to leave time for this. I want to say this.
Take as long as you can, James.
I got you, my friend. I think
We're not cutting you off.
Yeah. Once I've kind of figured out what I was capable of, the last 90 days of my life, I've earned more income than I did the last, let's see here. I made $200,000 in speaking just off of YouTube. And in March, April, I had a room of 700 people paying $500 to come hear me speak. And I only announced it on for YouTube. I went down to Chattanooga, Tennessee, with 7,000 people who were part of that church. And I made it just done on YouTube, Instagram post and said, I'm coming to any church that would like me to come, and I'll bring some friends with me so that we can impact lives. Next thing I know, I'm in New York. 2 days later, I'm on national TV with Carrie Champion, and there were 5 times as many views with me on a sports channel, and I never played sports professionally. Then it was the next day where she had Chris Paul on announcing he had been traded. You see, your gifts will make room for you. It'll make an arena available to you. You just have to plug in all in. I didn't realize, and I owe myself, my young self, an apology for sitting there wondering why. Why did I have to lose my leg? Now looking back, I'm like, I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful. I'm thankful that my dad wasn't there because it taught me to look to other male figures that served in the military and were strong, positive male figures to lean upon them. I'm thankful that my mom slapped me and made me not look to her for nurturing, but I had my grandmother that was there. There's always a plan B, a substitute that will step in Your plan A may have failed in life. Maybe you thought you were supposed to go to school, get a degree. After getting a degree, you go get you a job. You work that for 40 years, you retire, then you go do what you would like to do, which is travel. That plan sucks. That is the wrong plan. I don't know who came up with that, but they probably are the ones that took my foot. If I ever find them, I would just tell you this. The plan for you doesn't need to be like the plan it was for anyone else. You're unique. You were born gifted. You didn't need to lose a leg to have a unique story. You have mine, and we have each other. I learned from you, you learned from me. And if there's anything that I could ever do for any of you, if you're trying to develop your social media, if you're trying to grow your YouTube, if you're trying to do any of those things, coaching, speaking, I'm now opening the doors for guys because I want to build my own tribe. I'm here in Atlanta, and I just grabbed people that I've met that were successful and said, if I take you with me, I'll open the doors. I'll pick you, have car service pick you up. I'll bring you, I'll pay for your hotel. We'll go in, we're going to impact some lives. You can sell your programs as long as you're taking care of people. I'm behind it. But no manipulation, no looking at them as giving units, no looking at them like I made a bunch of sales. If you can't invest in people, you can't invest with me. And I'm trying to change the world. And I appreciate the fact that you guys allowed me in your world. You're all great people. And you gave me a great opportunity to share my heart. Thank you, guys.
That was better than I expected, man. Not that I expected less. But, V5O, I just want to tell you, we all deal with obstacles on a daily basis. And the gift that James has given me from knowing him is when I'm dealing with certain things in the morning, I think about James's journey and his attitude. And I got to tell you, it snaps me out of it in 3 seconds. And it really empowers me to what Lane and I have been saying since March 24th, 2020. It's all about who you surround yourself with. Unfortunately, James's mom wasn't what he needed. And thank the heavens that his grandmother got on that bus. And with those few words, literally changed his life. And that's why Elaine and I always say to you, reach out to someone. Check, even if it's on LinkedIn, just message, hey, how you doing? You have no idea what those 3 or 4 words are going to do for that other person. So we're all dealing with shit, pardon my French. But it's who you surround yourself with, and it's how you deal with it. And then when you learn how to cope with it, share it. So James, I can't thank you enough. You brought up a lot of things today that I didn't even know. And I'm going to keep quiet, and I hope our community has, some questions. And listen, we all want to get behind you and promote support. So everyone, please make sure, James, share all your links. Lane and I are going to share those links following the happy hour. But we're behind you, man. And we hope that, we're one of those tribes that could help you, do what you're doing. So
Thank you,
brother.
Right on. And I know that Scott has his hand up. Get to you in 1 second. Just want to make one point that James made me think about that happened last night. But we love the tribe, James. We've been calling ourselves a tribe now for many years. It went from community to tribe, and I've always told people everybody needs a leader, but what tribes people have is their own leadership qualities. And if you continue to surround yourself with the right tribes people, you're going to bring those leadership qualities out for everybody. So thank you on that. But one quick thing, as a sports nut, I don't know if you caught the ESPYs last night. The ESPY Awards is my favorite award show. ESPN puts it every year. And Dickie Vitale, was really one of my idols. Not Jimmy Valvano, love Dickie Vitale, Jimmy Valvano. And the recipient of the Jimmy V Award last night was Liam Hendricks. He's a pitcher for the Chicago White Sox, been battling cancer for many years. White Sox kept him on the team when he started feeling better. He would pitch. Then he gets sick. They kept him on the team. But he said the one thing that got him through and continues to get him through his battles is when people send him text messages or give him a phone call. And that's the only thing that got him through that. And you hear us talking about it all the time. Just take 10 seconds, shoot a text to someone, even if it's a family member, a loved one, a friend. How you doing? Thinking about you. Remember you're loved. Let's connect when you can. Makes all the difference in the world. So that hit home, because that's something I pride myself on daily. And to hear it from a gentleman who won the award, that's lucky to be alive, was like, all right, kind of just sealed the stamp of approval on that. So just wanted to share that. And Mr. Lask, I see your hand up.
James, I think that if I was Tony Robbins, I'd be very worried. I'd be very worried.
He's got more followers.
Yeah, but I just doubled Tony Robbins in views. His lifetime views is 64 million.
Good for
I'm at
you.
127.
Well, good for you, and keep it going. And
Thank you, Dave.
look, as someone, and it's not unique because we've all had it, when really tough, traumatic things happen to us when we're kids, and that you could rise above that and harness your mind. It's an inspiration, and I wish you all the best of luck. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you, my friend.
And James, while we have a couple of minutes, it's funny that Scott mentioned Tony Robbins. You know, me, you, and Alan had a great conversation yesterday afternoon, and you mentioned what would happen if Tony Robbins disappears tomorrow, and if James Dixon disappears tomorrow, why your brand will continue on and his won't, which I found to be interesting, because you built a brand.
Right.
That
I wanted something that would live beyond my lifetime and my whatever it is that I am, right? So absolute motivation will always be able to exist because it's a brand. It's not a man. See, a man can die. A movement, yeah, that can last. If Tony Robbins dies, how do you sell Tony Robbins anymore? How do you sell that Tony Robbins is coming when he doesn't exist? But absolute motivation is a brand. And someone else, whether it be one of you or someone in the future, can step in. And that's why I'm building a platform with other voices on it. Hopefully some of you guys are speakers and we end up connecting sometime. But yes, sir, that's why.
Drocella.
Thank you, James. I'm Drocella. I'm Knoxville, Tennessee. I said we will find a way to have coffee. Your story is moving, and I want to find out how we can collaborate to help to heal the wounds. I'm a refugee from Rwanda. I lost everything I invested in from more than 40 years, come to Knoxville, Tennessee, started from scratch, was separated from my children for 2 years, my husband for a year. And recently, when I decided to build this business, I had a calling to work with police departments and African Americans. And I said, God, I don't know what I will do, but I will be obedient. So I just wanted to share that because I'm building a global movement around diversity in action. And I want to come to Georgia and sit with you to see how we can help our peers to heal from the wounds that are in our communities and to show them that everyone is gifted and they can do more and be more. I thank you for sharing your story.
Oh, thank you. Well, I'm in Atlanta until Sunday, and there's the event that I'm having is free. You come, doesn't matter what hour, I'll take time out and I'll spend time with you. If you come, I'll make myself available. Anyone else?
Yeah, I want to thank you for your story. It's something I've needed. There are a number of people out there who I consider my heroes. You just became one of them.
Thank you, my friend.
but I'm also dealing with something of my own, which has been very difficult and extremely painful for me, which just happened a few months ago, and I have no idea what I'm going to do with it. But it's one of these stories where I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. But listening to you, thinking I've got to find a way to talk about this, and I don't know if what I have will help anybody, but
Well, I do know it will help. It will help. You don't have
what's
to
that?
know, but it will help. You are a help. Do
Yeah.
talk. The longer you stay on mute, there's someone else that needs your solution, that needs your voice. That whatever it is that was in you, brother, that makes you say, I don't know. I want you to get rid of that self-doubt. You are valuable, and your story, it's important. Go on.
Okay.
Nathan and James, with both of your permission, we'd love to get the two of you connected, if that's okay.
Let's
Yeah,
do
I would appreciate that. I looked for you on LinkedIn. I'm not sure if I found you. Sent a request out, but yeah, I would very much like to talk with you. I do have something to talk about. I just don't know how in the world to bring it out there.
I can work
But
with
it's
you.
yeah.
Count on it, brother.
Appreciate you, Nathan. Appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
Joel, I see your hand up.
You're on mute, Joel. I cannot read those lips.
Yeah, thank you. I think I was off mute, but I'm so choked up. I definitely have an experience. I had chopped off part of my index finger, but I was about 20, and I know the feeling of a couple of nights when it was detached still before the surgery. I remember the feelings of like, oh, I got my hand, and then I would wake up, and then I would count my fingers, and it was 9.5 at the time. I had a few surgeries in his back, and but thank you. I mean, I didn't know really what I was coming to for this event, but obviously it was to meet you. And, I'm so devoid of like my marriage. Like I just don't like it. And I have young twins and I love them, but I'm just having a tough time. I don't know. I feel like my big vision is really like, since growing up in like near Jamaica, Queens, it was like a very diverse area. And there was a lot of like racial issues though between everybody. So I think like how do I be that one where it's like I'm the connector of humanity for all races and the unity and building things together. So I don't know. I guess my question is like, how could I get more like you and just like maybe like, I mean, you like hireable, like as a coach, like 1-to-1.
All you gotta do, reach out to me, brother. And they said that when the Facebook is the only thing that I can't respond on. So many people have hacked into that messenger. I don't touch it, but Instagram, you're right. That's me directly. And I'll just, LinkedIn, I just don't utilize it as much, but I'll always be available for you. You need me, I'm there.
Again, with everyone's permission, Joel, we're more than happy if James is willing to get you connected via email directly.
Thank you.
And Joel, we can't listen. This is what V5O has always been about. Lane taught me that it's okay to cry with other men, and I've never cried so much and talked about my mother who's passed so much. And I know some guests, you're looking confused, like what the hell did I just come on to? Yeah, listen, we network, but the foundation, when you connect and you share your vulnerabilities, that's who I want to do my business with.
Right, you got it.
People that know about, my story and James's story and Joel willing to share and Nathan. That's what makes this so special is I can't walk into a Westchester Business Council meeting and just start spewing out marriage issues or issues I'm having with my kids or God forbid health issues. But that's what's so amazing is about the 3 years, what we've all created here. It's not just me and Lane, we created the, virtual5o'clock.com, but all of you have taken this to where we are today, where we're all comfortable to share that. So, you know, James, you fit right in, man, and you're such an inspiration to everything that we're dealing with on a daily basis. You know, it just shows you someone's always got it worse, but someone's figured it out. And James, my man, you have figured it out. So thank you for that.
With
Thank you, my friend.
thank you, James. With 7 minutes left, we'll go Dr. Allison, Diane, and we'll have Amir close us out. Take it away, Allison.
Great, thanks. Listen, James, I just want to thank you for being your authentic self and being so transparent, because you bring that vulnerability out. You just really knocked the room over, and that's really obvious. But I really have to say this, because I'm burning over here. There is so much scientific backing to every single thing that you just shared, that you just changed everybody in the room, scientifically speaking. So I want you to know that you affected everybody's like neurological positioning, and you've changed everything here forever. And I want to thank you for being able to be a recipient of that and be able to carry you now forward because of this. So thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.
And she could say that. She's a doctor. You just don't put the title up there.
Yeah.
Diana?
Hi, James. I just wanted to thank you so much for opening up. You've really empowered me, because I've suffered quite a bit in my life. And I always say the same thing, that if my family is not there, that I will go find my tribe. And I consider V5O definitely a part of my tribe. And you, of course, is part of it. I love you guys all. And one of the things that I'm currently experiencing, and this was so timely, is I'm about to help 5 little girls that are about to come to my home in the next 2 hours, who are all being sexually abused. And one of them is autistic, and her autism is being constantly thrown in her face. She's handicapped, very similar to what you were told. And I'm telling her the same things that you were just saying, and what you didn't want to believe, and she doesn't want to believe it. And this isn't part of my work. It's just purely what I love to do, because I love kids. And I truly believe that in order for us to heal our world, we have to heal them when they're still very young, instead of growing up with it and having to have carried it, because I was one of those kids. I didn't have a grandmother. I was abused from every angle. And I would have wished if there was an adult that came in and helped. But it's very tough to do it alone, because I have to do this. It's my calling, but I need help. I need help. And I want to know if there are people in this world that don't have any agendas, because I watched that movie last night, The Sound of Freedom. And I see just how horrible it is for kids. And like you said, and children are so resilient. The stuff that they go through, none of us can go through as children. Like what you went through as a kid, what I went through, it's just unbelievable. I can't be fathomed by an adult. So how do we get together to start healing kids when it starts to happen? And I'm all the way in Vancouver. These kids are in Vancouver. Their mother would probably not be happy that I'm even sharing this. But I need to put together some type of a group or something where it's a safe.
Let's work together on that. I love that. I love the passion. I thank you for your heart.
I'm in.
Thank you, guys.
Whatever you need.
Love you, Diana. Thank
And I
you for sharing
don't
that.
want to be politically incorrect, Alan and Lane, but
You can't help yourself.
as a man, as a gentleman, as a father of a daughter and 2 granddaughters, if you have a list of names, I got some old friends from Brooklyn that we'll have an attitude adjustment conference.
There it goes.
Thank you, Scott.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
We'll
Diana.
wrap it up with Amir.
James, thank you for your message. I put in the chat that my name is Amir Asadi and I approve of James Dixon's message. Do I have your permission?
Yeah, thank you, my friend.
I want to share something with you. And this is really a mantra that some adopt, some don't, some adopt early in life, and some never in life. Mel Robbins suggested when she had her TED Talk debut that each one of us has a chance of coming into this universe, and that chance is 1 in 400 trillion. Can you imagine? 1 in 400 trillion. Some people don't even know how many zeros that is. But if you don't tell, they won't know.
That's
And if
right.
you don't share, they won't learn. And every one of us, when we go through challenges that are sometimes and often debilitating, we don't know where to turn. And we look for miracles. Well, every once in a while, not all the time, quite seldom, small miracles come into our lives, and we ought to be wise to recognize. And you are one of those small miracles. 1 in 400 trillion chance that each one of us would come here, and you came, and even if you change the mind and the soul of one soul, you have done your diligence and your duty as a human being. So I want to thank you very much. It is
Thank
a
you, my
message
friend.
that you have left that is worth preserving, and hopefully we connect and see what additional good can be done when we collect together, because good things happen when good people meet. James, thank you from the bottom of my heart, and I know that everyone's heart is saying the same thing with gratitude. Thank you for being that small miracle that helps grow other miracles. Thank you.
Thank you, my friend.
Well, tribe, it is the top of the hour. And we all know what tomorrow is. We're all going to have a very, very happy Friday. So raise a glass, make a toast. It was wonderful to see everybody. And thank you so much for being here.
Happy Friday. Before everyone signs off, James, what are some actionable items that people can do? Where are we? We'll get all your links out. Anything immediate that you need support or promotion on? You know,
Well-
share that with Lane and I, and we'll get it out to everyone.
Yeah, I definitely will. I'll get everything. Please share all of my information with everyone on your call.
We
I'm
will.
here, guys. I look forward to going. This virtual 5 has to become known. You guys are doing too much of a good thing to be silent. And so let's get together. Let's grow this thing. Thank you. I really appreciate you. God
Thank you for
bless.
sharing, man. We love you. V5O, we love you. Happy Friday. You need anything, reach out to us. Guests, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you, Patty.
everybody. Be well.
Thanks, everyone.